Once upon a time, my great-great protozoan grandfather, Mr. Plasmodium I, found himself lonely and empty, yearning for thrill. When the opportunity arose for him to leave the Anopheles mosquito that he resided in for most of his life, he decided to take it in pursuit of something larger than himself. He was out to establish a kingdom. At this point, my grandfather naturally mutated into a sporozoite in the salivary glands of the mosquito waiting for its meal. Before he knew it, the time had come and the Anopheles was biting into human flesh. He was transmitted into the blood of his new human host. As he circulated the blood throughout the body, he planned his first conquering strategy. Mr. Plasmodium I was so eager to begin reproducing that he sped off to the liver, choosing it as the site of his kingdom. He invaded the hepatocytes with the use of specialized membrane proteins and assumed brain formation for the preparation of the next stage of the life cycle. This was the growth period of his life cycle during which he focused on absorbing nutrients from the host. Ready to expand his kingdom, he grew into a schizoid and asexually reproduced his daughters, the merozoites. Once the merozoites matured into lovely adults, he allowed them to pursue the parasitic dream of traveling the bloodstream and infecting the red blood cells, erythrocytes of the host. The merozoites asexually reproduce in the erythrocytes for a few days, forming more schizonts in the continuation of asexual reproduction. The merozoite lives off hemoglobin and other nutrients in red blood cells, allowing the parasite to divide and produce even more merozoites. They destroy red blood cells and continue to find others to infect.
This destruction of red blood cells induces anemia in the human host, weakening the enemy. Some of the freed merozoites then differentiate into male and female gametocytes in the bloodstream, awaiting the next blood meal. An ally of the Plasmodium, a mosquito then consumes male and female gametocytes during the blood meal. In the gut, haploid male gametocytes fertilize the haploid female gametocytes, resulting in an oocyst that spawns immature sporozoites. These sporozoites then reach the salivary glands where they mature and stand guard for the next blood meal. Thus, the cycle continues, and the legacy of Mr. Plasmodium I carries on.
His kingdom came to be known as the infamous malaria, which was first discovered by a French surgeon by the name of Laveran in the 1880s. Laveran soon became the sworn enemy of our kingdom when he revealed the existence of P. falciparum and our plan of world domination to the host-like aliens who were after the demolishing of malaria. We had successfully remained under the radar for thousands of years until 2700 BC, when the Chinese took note of malaria in the book Ne Ching, translated as the Canon of Medicine. Then, in the 4th century BCE, the Greeks also recognized the existence of our kingdom. Laveran started preparing an army, and 10 years later, his chief officers, Grassi and Fleti, spoke out against my secret cities, P. vivax and P. malariae. More and more enemies started accumulating. Then alien John Stevens revealed another section of my kingdom, P. ovo, another great branch of our kingdom. P. nolsi was discovered by Knowles and Dasgupta several years later, residing in long-tail macaques. It wasn't until 1965 that they realized P. nolsi has been extending its borders into the human population as well. Tragically, our greatest secret to the success of the kingdom of malaria, the Anopheles mosquitoes, was uncovered by Ronald Ross in 1897, which led to further investigations confirming our vectors of infection.
Generations after the manifestation of my great-great-grandfather's kingdom, we have spread to various corners of the earth with a strong preference in tropical areas. Primarily, we house our largest population in sub-Saharan Africa, accounting for 90% of all cases of malaria. Over the past 50 years, the World Health Organization has been public enemy number one, seeing as they have greatly reduced our geographical dominance by proposing our eradication across the globe. India and Sri Lanka used to stand as metropolises of malaria, but not after the WHO drew their swords, though Indonesia, Afghanistan, Haiti, and Nicaragua held strong. Our battles with most developed countries have been failures, except for when the occasional traveler acts as our Trojan horse. After the establishment of the Communicable Disease Center in 1946, America practically eradicated malaria with their terrible weapons of insecticide sprays. Most of our success happens in areas where access to healthcare is minimal and poverty is a predominant issue. In 90 countries, we pose as a major health problem to over 2.4 billion people, which is 40% of the world's population. Our favorite targets are young children, pregnant women, non-immune travelers, refugees, displaced individuals, and laborers. Malnourishment is also a good friend of ours in the expansion of our kingdom. We also took large losses in Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, and Korea in the past, but now we are seeing more success, particularly with our specially equipped invaders who have resistance to many medicines used today. Each year, 300 to 500 million individuals fall under the regime of malaria, killing one child every 30 seconds. As long as global climate change ensues, Health services disintegrate, rural lands are reaped, and humans continue their wars with mass movements of refugees. The kingdom of malaria will never fail.